and then you short from here. Boom. That's called a shark fin hold the Mayo because that's out of the band, that's out of the band, out of the band, out of the band. This is a shark fin hold the Mayo, hold the blueberry. All right, shark fin hold the blueberry. Boom, that's your entry going short from here. Beautiful, beautiful setup. Okay. Awesome. All right. No questions. I am going to start with the presentation then. You guys are good? All right, good. Let's do it. Just remember, tomorrow morning, I will be doing the pre-market. It's going to be pre-recorded, so I should have that done and posted definitely before 8:30. All right, between 8 and 8:30, it'll be posted and rendered and everything else. So, all right, it's going to be pre-recorded. It's not going to be live tomorrow in London. Okay. All right. 1 hour 50-50 bounce. One of my favorite setups. It should be yours as well. Okay, it's very easy to see. Let us go. All right, so what is the 1 hour 50-50 bounce? You hear about it, okay, on the 15-minute chart. We call it an ID 50 or an ID safety. On the 1 hour and 4 hour, we call it 4 hour 50-50 bounce or a 1 hour 50-50 bounce. It is the first pullback after an anchor formation. Okay, remember, this is a trend continuation setup, not a reversal. An anchor is a reversal where you see an M or a W. The trend continuation of the bounce trades, the bounce of the water or bounce of the Mayo. Okay, these are bounce trades, they're continuation setups. All right, so these are the rules. Okay, we like rules. Leia's asking 8:30 London or New York. No, this is just for tomorrow. Just for tomorrow, London. Thursday, Friday, only London. Leia. Okay. The 1 hour 50-50 bounce rules, right? The anchor formation is present to the left. Okay, you got to see your anchor. M's, W's, multi-days, multi-sessions, of course. Head and shoulders, 3 drives. Okay. Half bats. Okay. 13 and the 50 EMA have to cross, 1350 cross. We're looking for the first pullback of price to the 50 EMA. After the 1350 cross, the pullback should be between 25 to 50 pips. All right. Then you wait for price to roll over off the 50 EMA and close the bubble below the 13 EMA. That means the shift candle. Okay. And your TDI should show an RSI signal line cross above or below the static. All right, very, very crucial. This TDI confirmation is very crucial, okay, to your success. You follow this rule, you should be able to master one setup. All right, so let's see what all that means, right? So starting anchor formation present to the left. So you're going to see an anchor coming off the peak. So this example, this is the peak. This anchor doesn't mean you're going to trade the anchor, right? That's what I meant. Sometimes the anchor is not clean, you can't trade it. It looks terrible in this example. All right. So what you do is you look for 1350 cross, 1350 cross. All right. So you look for the first pullback. Okay. The first pullback of price to the 50 EMA at any level. Okay. As you notice, there's a big drop. Boom. Right. They pull back in level 3. It never touched the water until level 3. Okay, that's the first pullback. 50-50 short. Okay. Remember, the pullback is going to be 25 to 50 pips. So you come off this ugly anchor. That's why I'm not a big fan of trading anchors. Okay, because you went long here. Okay, perfect, right? It worked. But if you thought this was your W, it did not work. Okay. Anyway, 1350 cross. First pullback, 25 to 50 pips. It hits the water and rolls over, closes above. That's what it means. All right. That should move long. market makers will sometimes give you a M or a W pattern. As you can see, sometimes 1350 will cross, right? You will take the first leg of the 50-50 bounce, first leg. All right, it'll all confirm. RSI is going to be below the signal line, below the static. But sometimes what they do is they come back and give you a second leg. All right, so you got to exit when it closes above the 13. Unless this is a news candle, then you do not get in over here. You wait for them to go back over again and short it from here. Okay. All right, so what you do is you take the 50-50 bounce, and if you scratch, take the second leg. So here is coming off level 3, ugly anchor formation, 1350 cross, first pullback. This is a shift candle. Okay, is it valid? Yeah, it's valid. RSI below signal line below the static on the first move, right? It closed back above 13 to kill it. When rolled back over, as long as the RSI line is still below, keep short. Still below means, you know, the RSI and signal line did not crisscross. Okay. All right, so the 1 hour 50-50 bounce even works on resets. What do I mean by that is a reset. Okay, it bounced off the water. I don't like them. I like the reset of the Mayo. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You still have your 1350 cross. Okay, you're looking for the first pullback. So the pullback happens to be in level 2 this time. In this example, 25 to 50 pips, rolled over, RSI signal line cross below the static short. Okay. So the reset entry is the same with a close below in this example, the 13 EMA. So here's my reset. I like it better. Came off the Mayo, right? Here's my 1350 cross. I can clearly see that. Pull back 25 to 50 pips. This is your Aussie, easy, 25 to 50 pips pullback, and then it rolls over. Okay. Notice this one kind of sort of depending on your screen if it closed above or below the 13 or not. Okay. Some of you say yes, it did. Some of you say no. But if the 13 and the 50 is right there, I would probably prefer a trap of the 50. All right, the 13 trap, I wrote out the 13 trap. It did not trap the 50 because I clearly see the blue line right above the green candle. Okay, so it kind of stutters, and then so if this one does trap, you kill it. Okay, barely -1, and then it simply rolled over, and this one does not crisscross. What I mean by that is, again, the RSI signal line does not go back, crisscross back like that. Take the trade. Okay. All right, so if you take the first leg of the 50-50 bounce, okay, the RSI signal line cross in this example got to be above the static. Okay, so ugly anchor, 1350 cross, first pullback, they bounce. All right, RSI signal line cross above the static, first leg. Okay, here's another example of the first leg 50-50 bounce GDI confirmation. So it comes off this beautiful anchor, short, 1350 cross, first pullback, 25 to 50 pips, they bounce. Okay, RSI signal line cross above or below the static. This one is below the static. Okay, here's my static line, middle line, midline. Okay, that's my move. Okay, now if you take the second leg of the 50-50 bounce, your RSI signal line has to cross above or below the market baseline. Like any second leg, any M structure, half a bat structure, where you look for out of the band, in the band, any second leg structures, RSI signal line has to be above or below the market baseline. So this, in this example, you're coming off this reset, right? 1350 cross. So your first bounce theoretically is here. Yeah, granted, I don't like this the way this candle looks. It's an inverted hammer. Okay, I wouldn't take this trade. I like a solid candle or a hammer, right? But if you did, for whatever reason, take this trade, look at the close above the 13, okay? At that moment of time, RSI signal line would have crossed. See how it closed below the 13? You scratch this trade right there. Okay, you take a scratch. This becomes your second leg, and you go long from here. Okay? In this example, when you take the second leg move, RSI has got to be above the market baseline. Okay? Make sure you have enough space before taking your trade. So in this example, you're coming off this anchor formation, 1350 cross, first pullback, here's a little star. You measure from your potential entry to your 200 EMA if there's enough space. Otherwise, do not take the trade. Okay? The first leg, RSI line, signal line cross, above or below the static. Alright? As you can see clearly, 50-50 bounces does present on the 4-hour chart because it's called a 50-50 bounce. 1 hour 50-50 bounce, 4 hour 50-50 bounce, same thing. So you look at the 1350 cross, and you look for the first pullback. Now 4 hours is going to be a lot more than 25 to 50 pips, closer to 50 than 25. Okay, pulls back, 2 pins to the water, shifts, closes. Notice RSI line, signal line cross below the static. Okay, and off to the races. Or if you're taking the 4-hour chart, you can go for more pips, 50 pips minimum. Okay, if that works for you. Okay, just remember the 4-hour 50-50 bounce follow the same rules. All right, so I'm coming off this peak. I got a 1350 cross. This is my first pullback. Bounces off the water. Okay, you got to follow the rule. Just because it bounced off the water, RSI line signal line did not confirm. RSI signal line got to cross. Obviously, the static is right here. If it does cross, RSI is going to be above the signal line, above the static. In this, you just have to wait until RSI line is above the static, and then you enter the trade. So you'd have, this is a 4-hour chart, right? You'd have, instead of sitting here for 8 hours, you wait until 8 hours is done, RSI signal line crosses, and then you take the trade. So in this example, RSI line and signal line cross above the static. All right, so just because it closed above the 13, without confirmation, do not take that trade. Although you'll be sitting here for 8 hours. Okay? All right. So here's the quote of the day. It comes down to one simple thing. How bad do you want it? Okay? I mean, that's pretty much it, right? It's all you. We're here to guide you. We're here to show you what you need to learn. It's all up to you whether you absorb the material and how you apply it. Okay? We show you a lot of very, very good stuff. This coming Sunday, I'll be doing the Sunday session. Doug is going to be off. Again, remember, tomorrow is going to be pre-recorded, the London pre-market. Okay, the London pre-market is going to be pre-recorded tomorrow. Like they always say, the next move is always yours. What do you do with all this information is up to you. The more effort you put into it, ask questions, learn. Okay? If something is not clear, that's what the study group is for. That's what the Sunday session is for. Ask us. That's what we're there for. We go over all the potential setups. Well, I do. And you just sit and learn. Like, okay, that's that setup. That's that setup. What setups are going on here? You don't need a lot of setup. You just need, if you master 2, more than enough. If you master 3, lights out. That's all you need. You do not need 10 setups. Okay? You just need to be very accurate. 80%, 90% accuracy, phenomenal. The less trades you take, the less setups you have, the better you master these setups, and the higher the accuracy is, the more money you're going to make, period. right? All right, let me see some questions. All right, let's see. Wow, a lot of questions in here. Okay, so. All right, correct me if I'm wrong. The second 50 of the 50-50 means 50 pips. Well, that used to be it. It's 50 EMA, and then it's bouncing off the static 50. That's where you get the 50-50. Before, we did not understand that, so we used to say bounce off the 50 EMA for 50 pips, but that's because we presumed Steve went for 50 pips, so it was the 50-50. You took the 50 bounce for 50 pips. But it's actually bounce off the 50 EMA and the static 50. Okay, how do you consider when anchor price and level 3 has closed below the 200 EMA? How do you consider the pullback? I do not use the fibs to calculate the pullback. All right, so for example, all right, so you're asking a question is, well, how do you determine the pullback over here is 25 to 50 pip? Do I put the fib in here? The answer is no. I just literally measure from here. I just put my crosshair and measure from here to here. Just before this candle closes, I'll measure the pullback. I'll be like, okay, cool. I put my crosshair from here and I move, I hold it up to here and I see how many pips it is. That's it. I don't drop the fib on it. When do you measure the distance to the static 50? A good question. I measure the distance to the static 50 is if it misses it. So for example, if it traps it, in other words, if it goes above the static, it comes back below, I don't really care. I don't measure it. But if it misses it, for example, right, like this, if it misses it, then I'll measure from the tip of the RSI line to the static. I just want to make sure it's not more than 1.5. Oh, thanks, Ted. Appreciate it, bud. Do you trade the 4-hour? Absolutely, George. I do trade the 4-hour if it's nice. It's not my preferred time frame to trade, though. I prefer trading the 1-hour chart because I've studied it. I know if I look at the 1-hour chart, I know what's going on the 15-minute chart. But 4 hours is too far for me. Okay, because every candle is 4 hours. I gotta wait. I don't like to do that. All right, David, thank you. Reinhold, thank you. Like today, EJ anchor is set. Price action is strong, but the 50 didn't cross the 200. If I'm waiting for the ID 50, that's more than 50 pips. Possibly. Okay, so if you're looking at ID, in other words, you're coming off the anchor move, you're waiting for that first pullback, right? So it's going to pull away, pull back 25 to 50 pips, and then roll, which there wasn't any, so you end up taking that trade. All right, this is not a pullback. It's like 11. This is a dribble sideways. Okay. Now, once it goes 1 ADR, people will be like, well, here the ID. No. Once it moves 1 ADR, right, that means you're in level 1. Your next move is a safety. You're not looking for a 50-50 bounce. The 50-50 bounce has to happen. Usually the first move is going to be 60 pips. So it's going to move 60 pips off that high, pull back, depending again on ADR, of course, right? And then you're going to get the ID move. Okay. High ADR is going to move a little bit more. 75. Okay. All right. Which is the static? The static line is the 50. This line right here. You see the 50 line? The static is the middle line. So the first leg RS line must be beyond the static, and the second leg is always below the market baseline. Karen, yes, absolutely. All right. First leg is got to be RSI line, signal line cross, above or below the static. The second leg always above or below the market baseline. Thank you, Joe. I see I'm mixed up with the ID and the safety. Oh, yeah. The ID move will only happen if you're within that first ADR. So if I'm coming off this anchor move, right? So my ADR, let's say 91 pips. So it's got to happen within 91 pips. So by the time it hits here, I have to have my ID move. Because once ADR is passed and it comes back, then comes my safety. I'm looking for safety, right? Close the extreme structure, stop and high drop, safety. I know it dropped 2 times ADR, but I'm still looking for safety, even though I'm in level 2. Sometimes it'll come all the way back up to the water and it'll give me a 1 hour 50-50 bounce or a MNW of the male. Possible. Okay, that's why I prefer a 1 ADR drop rather than a 2 ADR drop, right? Because with 1 ADR drop, I'm looking for safety. 2 ADR drop, ideally, I'm looking for an MNW of the male. If I don't have a safety, it could give me a safety, or it could give me an MNW of the male, or it could give me a 1 hour 50-50 bounce. So I'm prepared for whatever it gives me. Okay. Clive, thank you very much. Appreciate it. So even the same day, if it has hit the ADR and then a most and least ID happens, so you would not take it, or would you take it? A very good question, right? Leah is saying that if ADR is met or exceeded, and then it gives me an ID move, will I take it? Very likely no. If the ADR is met or exceeded, my next move after 1 ADR is passed is what? If I'm in level 1, the next move I'm looking for is a safety, right? The better trade is the safety. The ID, sometimes they'll give you a fake out. They'll look like they're going to bounce and give you an ID, and then they'll stutter, and then they'll go back above, and then they're like, I should have taken that trade. Always look for your best setup in each level. If I'm in level 1, my best setup is a safety trade, not an ID trade. Sometimes they will do straight away, then they'll give you the ID bounce, okay? But the better trade is still the safety. All right. All right. All right. Thank you. Yes, 2 times ADR MNW of the male. Yep. All right, guys. Have a great night. I won't see you tomorrow, but I'll see you guys on Sunday for the car study group Sunday session, 4:30 Eastern.